Lesson 6-7, Mixed Numbers and Improper Fractions. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to read and write mixed numbers, as well as rename a mixed number as an improper fraction and vice versa. So make sure you have your pencil and your paper ready to take notes as we go along. When you compute with fractions, you must be able to express mixed numbers as improper fractions and vice versa. So an improper fraction has a value that is equal to or is greater than 1. It has a numerator equal to or greater than its denominator. Some examples would be 7/6, 50 over 110, and 4/3. The numerators here are all greater than their denominators. So that's what makes it an improper fraction. So to rename a mixed number as an improper fraction, first multiply the whole number by the denominator, then you add the product to the numerator, and then you write the sum over the denominator. An example would be 3 1/2. So we have 3 1/2. So our first step says multiply the whole number by the denominator. So 3 times 2 would give us 6, plus that 1 would be 7, and then you write it all over the denominator. So I did that kind of in my head. Here's how it looks one way written out. We have 3 1/2 equals, we do our our denominator times the whole number plus the numerator all over the denominator. Another way is if you have it written big enough or spaced out enough, like that, 3 1/2, you can do this and draw this arrow like that. So you're going to multiply down here, multiply your denominator times the whole number plus the numerator. So you're going like this. So those are two ways to write it out to remember how to do it. Okay, so why don't you try this, 10 5/6, and make that an improper fraction, and then come back and check. So I'm going to put this here to remind myself. I multiply here and I add, and I go all the way around. So 6 times 10 equals 60, plus 5 equals 65, all over my denominator. So I'd have 65/6 as the answer for that one. Okay, let's try one more. I want you to try 7 1/2 and make that into an improper fraction, and then come back and test it or check it. Okay, so I'm going to multiply here 2 times 7, and then I'm going to add the 1, and I go around this way. So 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 equals 15, and I keep my denominator the same. So the improper fraction there would be 15 over 2. So to rename an improper fraction as a whole number or as a mixed number, first divide the numerator by the denominator. Then write the quotient as the whole number part. Second, if there's a remainder, write it over the denominator and express the fraction in simplest form. So let's take a look at the example, 38 over 4. So we're going to divide 38 by 4, and we get 9 here. 9 times 4 is 36. We have 2, so it's remainder 2. So we would write, now we've divided it, now the quotient is our whole number. So 9 is the whole number. Now we do have a remainder, so that's 2, and we put it over our denominator from left over here, 4. So 9 2/4. Now it says that we need to make sure that this is in simplest form. So we know our 9 stays the same, so we keep that the same. 2/4 I know that 2 goes into both of those. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it would be 9 and 1/2. Okay, so take a look at the example 18/9. Go ahead and pause the video and put this into a mixed number and come back and check. Okay, so 18/9. I'm going to divide 18 by 9, and that goes in there 2 even times. So 18/9 in simplest form is just 2. There's no remainder, so there's no fraction. Okay, now let's take a look and let's do 11/2. So pause the video and try it and come back and check. Okay, so I'm going to divide 11 divided by 2. It goes in there 5 times. That's 10. I subtract 1, remainder 1. So 11/2 would be 5 is my whole number, 1 is the numerator, and the denominator stays the same as 2. 1/2 is already in simplest form, so I'm all done with that one. Okay, let's try one more. Let's do 9/7. So pause the video and work it out and come back and check it. Okay, I'm going to divide 9 divided by 7. It goes in there 1 time, and I subtract, and I have remainder 2. So now when I write it as my fraction, my whole number is 1. I had 2 as a remainder, and my denominator stays the same. So 1 2/7. So make sure that you rewatch any part of the video that you need to and refer to your notes as you work on today's work.